Hi. Thanks for tuning into this week's show, episode 4, part 1 of 2 with Queen Sylvia and the Dr. Elizabeth Branch. She is going to give us some awesome information and a history lesson. This lady is awesome and amazing in the DFW Fort Worth area. So sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, and these bracelets are by Crown Waymaker Creations. The number will be in the screen later on. So get you some tea or something to drink and sit back and enjoy the show. If you like this show, please consider giving us a thumbs up and a subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications. We are new to this, but we will be true to this. Enjoy. For tuning into Extraordinary People. This is our first Tea Talk, and we have with us the illustrious Dr. Branch. She is going to talk to us a little bit about her book and what she is going to be doing coming up this year. So thank y'all for tuning in, and if you find any value in this, please share it out. We are going to have our tea today. We have peppermint tea, and I am going to pour some for Dr. Branch.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, Dr. Branch, tell the community a little bit about you.
Not a lot to tell about me. I'm from East Texas, Jacksonville. As a matter of fact, I finished school at Fred Douglass High School, and I went on to Jarvis Christian College in Hawkins, Texas, which was another small town. And after that, I attended Texas Southern University for a master's degree and ended up in North Texas State University, which is now the University of Texas, in another small town, Denton, Texas.
All right.
So that's my educational background.
Okay. Well, I ran into you several years ago, probably about 20 years ago, with Mr. Ricky Clark and also Blandine as well, when you were doing The Man in the Mirror. Can you tell us a little bit about that book and that program?
Gosh, that's been a long time ago,
Yes.
Miss Sylvia, but it was very close to my heart. It was at a time when a lot of our young people, especially our African American boys, were destroying each other over territory and things that really didn't amount to much, but that spirit was in them then. And I wanted to do something to help those young boys to try to find themselves and understand that God had given them purpose in life, and it wasn't to destroy each other. It was, if anything, to rise above whatever circumstances you were in, to rise above that and to build. And they were not doing that. So I wrote Man in the Mirror as a curriculum. I don't know if you recall that there was, at that time, of course, Mr. Clark was a young, vibrant, energetic teacher. He was fearless. He came out of Chicago, South Side. He was always happy to point that out. And he would go into gang territory and any of the other places to try to deliver a message that we thought was a message of hope. This is a way, if you can look at the person in the mirror and you can answer in the affirmative about who you are, what your purpose is, and a lot of other things that we had in that curriculum, we knew that it would make a difference.
And it really did. And
Well,
I just
we
want to
we like
commend
to
you
think
for
so.
that.
We like to think so. We had wonderful, as I said, energetic. I don't know if you happen to know another lady by the name of Marilyn. I've forgotten what Marilyn's last name. Johnson. Marilyn Johnson.
Yeah, Blondine. That's what we call her.
And oh, you know her. Okay. And anyway, Miss Cannon and several other people. Steve. Oh, that was a
Steve
wonderful
Richmond.
era for trying, as I said, trying to make a difference. It was a sad time though, because so many lives were destroyed, and that might not have been the answer, but it was an answer at that time. So thank you for remembering that.
Of course, that was my first encounter with you. We will be back in a moment. Let's pause for this sponsor break. So now we're going to fast forward to this book that you have, Choosing to Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to tell us a little bit about why you wrote this book and the purpose of that.
Thank you for asking. Choosing to Lift Every Voice and Sing was actually after I had attended an NAACP regional conference up in San Angelo, I believe was the name of that town. It was a small city, I do remember that. My husband went with me, of course, and we drove around, and it's a beautiful city. But at the NAACP conference, I had signed up not as a person that was representative of any particular group, and I like that. I'd like to pay my own fare so that I can just do what I want at those conferences. So I had attended this section on college. It was designed primarily for college kids, and those kids revealed things in that meeting that just touched my heart. One of the things that foremost, and the reason that led right to me coming home and trying again, I always say I just try these things out, but it's something that's in my heart. They were pouring out their hearts about how they were faced with racist rants and comments and so on on their college campuses. And of course, it had gotten to them, and there was no one to turn to. They would go to the administrators. I remember one girl in particular telling the story in tears that she had gone to this top administrator who was a female. She thought for sure she'll understand these kinds of discriminatory things that are happening to us. But the administrator ended up telling her that she was an administrator for the whole campus. And yes, I understand this is not good, because she also said that a lot of females face sexist kinds of attacks, but they just have to suck it up and go on. And I thought, how do you suck it up?
Right.
That's what choosing to lift every voice and sing is about. How you suck it up, pretty much. And that is when you can develop yourself from the inside. It has to start within. When you can feel so noble yourself, and so it's almost like egotistical. You're so filled with yourself that just everything out there doesn't bother you.
Mm-hmm.
It just, if somebody says go back to Africa, you can just remember something pleasant about your African American history or that kind of thing, and you can move on. You can remember through faith that, I don't know, that person might have been sick today. I'm not. I'm filled with the Spirit. I see you, brother. I hear you, but it's going to be like water on a duck's back. It's going to roll right off.
If you would like to be a guest on Tea Talk with Queen Sylvia, email me and we can discuss. And I would love to have you as a guest on the show. And we are back, and we are about to hear a phenomenal piece from Queen S. She is going to spit some poetry for us.
My existence emerged from between cabbage leaves and pomegranate trees, wearing nothing but fig leaves. See, I grew up in this magic of free will, playing with bluebirds and mockingjays and smelling daffodils. I follow the sun rays as sunflowers meet the sun's gaze. And I am happy in this place, giving grace to those who are temporary residents here. But gardening is a captive game with twists and plots and turns. But I do not desire to be the winner, for the love of the garden has saved my heart. And I know as a gardener, I must do my part. And I am a field hand in a land which acquires much needed attention. See, I am the gardener's extension, shovel in one hand while dropping seed in the other, providing shelter in the weather of your storm. I sprouted between dandelion and ironweed, dug deeper than the roots of the tooth and bone. Yet you do not call this dwelling place home. It's where I came to teach and seek those who are like me, gathering and harvesting those whose wisdom made them essential to their very own existence. I am a dwelling place, housed deep in the belly of every living tree, reaching and stretching my limbs toward the heavens, so those who remember where I am planted was once their home. Poem. Thank you.
So you begin to build pride, and it's comforting to know that I'm a strong enough person that whatever you meant that for, it's not going to impact me negatively, because I'm a strong woman, and one of the words I heard you say, I'm a queen.
Yes.
So it could be, I'm a queen.
You are.
In other words, what you try to do is to, in choosing to lift every voice and sing, you try to build from the inside so that when our children are attacked and we aren't even around, we don't even know some of the things that our kids go through.
That is true.
But within them, through faith, they are strong people, and they are strong enough to just, I think, I'm working on a manuscript right now with, actually with one of the queens, Miss Opal Lee, as a matter of fact.
All right.
Yes, and one of the things that I'm trying to do, we are trying to do in this manuscript, again, is to instill pride in, I won't say just youth, but in any person, and help them to understand in building that pride that a lot of what we see and think of as racism is something that we can do something about. We don't have to give in to every rant, racist remark or racist attitude. Let other people deal with that. You know, you just don't have to deal with it. And we are trying to show how, you know, her organization is Unity Unlimited, I believe is the name of one of her nonprofits. And that's what we are trying to show in this manuscript is the amount of unity. We don't teach that in the schools. We just teach the hostile part. For instance, there was unity. One of the major bits of unity, I would say, was through the Underground Railroad. We tell about in some schools and during some weeks and months about Harriet Tubman, and that's good. And she was a wonderful, you know the story,
Right.
Because that is one of the few that we talk about. And she did free some 300 or so slaves. And as she said, she would have freed more had they known they were slaves. But there was also a well-known Anglo man that freed over 3,000 through the Underground Railroad. We don't teach our children that because that is teaching them. That's what Opal and I want to focus on. We want to focus on the unification of Americans coming together is many times it's more powerful. I don't have to tell you that, like the NAACP, SNCC. Have you by chance heard the story of the Stockade Girls? That's the name of the story.
I remember something about Stockade, but I don't remember everything about it. And just like you just brought to my recollection that I didn't know anything about an Anglo man freeing 3,000 slaves. Mm-hmm. So this, you're alone, is a knowledge full of history that we need to know because I'm almost 60 and I never knew that. We were never taught that.
I know.
And
because,
that's awesome.
And can you imagine how you feel? I look at the little immigrants that are coming over, which is another different show, of course, because that's not how we came over. But the thing is this, if a child that we are trying to teach this choosing to lift every voice and sing, and the other manuscript with Miss Lee, one of the myths that we will dispel is that nobody wanted us. We weren't worth anything. We were not. Can you imagine little kids Well, yes, you can, because as you said, for almost 60 years, there were some things that you just didn't know. And it's almost like it is a concerted effort to keep those things away. You cannot hate every white person.
That's true.
Because there were white people
That
who
were
helped
good.
us.
That's right.
But we don't teach that. We want to teach the other part.
Right.
And that's not good. It's not good for unity, uniting the states. It's not good for our faith. None of that. We will sometimes get to the point we think, why did God create me?
If you would like to be a guest on Tea Talk with Queen Sylvia, email me and we can discuss. And I would love to have you as a guest on the show. Wow, what did I tell you? Isn't she a wealth of knowledge and information? This was part one of two. Tune in next week for part two. Now sit back and enjoy our sponsors. Thanks to all the sponsors that have participated thus far. Without you, this could not happen. Thank you so much. And if you would consider being a sponsor, email or DM the number, which will be on the screen. Thank you so much. And again, if you found value in this video, please share. Consider giving us a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe bell and consider liking and sharing always. Bye-bye.
Thank you.